Welcome to Hodgepodge Australia. Today we are making this beautiful Grinch Christmas cake. I love how this cake turned out. Let me show you what you're going to need for today. You're going to need a crumb coated cake. You're going to need more of your base color, which for mine is white, of buttercream. You'll need red buttercream, green fondant, sprinkles, a Grinch cutout, a black marker, and a couple of different trowels. What we're going to start by doing is, after our crumb coat has hardened in the fridge, we're going to add on another layer of buttercream. This one needs to be quite thick. It needs to be nice and thick, and it needs to be nice and level. Now, to be on the level with you guys, I used a dummy cake for this cake because I wanted to do it so much that I didn't want to have to bake a cake. And my goodness, these things move around everywhere. Anyway, as you can see, I have done a level. I would prefer it to be a little bit smoother, but it's okay because it's going to smooth out from this trowel here. You can see I have my lovely striped trowel. I just got this one off eBay. It's good, it's sturdy. I would prefer to have one that has longer prongs on it. This one, it gets covered in buttercream and therefore a little bit messy, a little bit quicker. Having to spend a little bit more time cleaning the buttercream off the trowel so you can come back. If you had one that was able to pull off a little bit more at a time, you just wouldn't have so much cleaning off to do. So applying light pressure to your cake as you spin it around, so having a turntable for your cake doing this style, you absolutely need, because you need to be able to turn this cake around. You're going to be scraping off the top layer of buttercream, and you can see there it is making some slight lines in my cake. Due to me using a dummy cake underneath, it is so light it keeps pushing around on the cake tray. So I'm going to find a way to weigh this down a bit because, oh my goodness, it was just doing my head in. I ended up putting a fondant bucket on top to weigh it down, and it just made it so much easier. So don't be a dummy like me using a dummy cake for this one unless you want to weigh it down. Use a proper cake that you can actually eat. Then you're going to, as you can see me doing there, simply continue to slide the trowel around until you get lovely deep lines. Now, it is going to be a little bit messy on the outsides if you've got the trowel like mine. Some of the trowels I've seen don't do this, but it's all going to be cleaned up later once you've put your stripes in. Now it's time to put our opposing colour in with a nice fine tip. Because I have nice fine stripes, I'm going to simply pipe the red icing into those grooves that we've made with the striping trowel. You're going to do this all the way down the base of the cake, so every groove that you have, fill it in with the red icing. Try and get it all the way up to the edges, but I try not to go all the way over the top. I do try to keep it just inside the groove so that I don't make so much for me to have to use my smoother down for later. Now you can see that it's all filled in. I'm just going to get my cake smoother and I'm going to go around the edges. Don't worry, it's going to look messy the first couple of times you go around. That's why we put on a lot of buttercream. It will eventually smooth out to lovely straight lines. I'm going to finish off the top and bottom of my cake by just piping on some green buttercream around the edges. I forgot to include green buttercream in my what you will need. This is up to you. You can do this color. You can maybe put some sprinkles around. I'm going with just some lovely green dots, which really ties into the Grinch theme. I think that my red, white, and green really ties in with Dr. Seuss, so I was really happy with how this turned out. Moving on to the Grinch face, you can see I've rolled out some green fondant here, and if you've got a sticky silicone mat, put this on top of some baking paper, because getting this back off the silicone mat after is just going to ruin it. Using a printout that I have found online, I am just aligning this up because I'm going to add a little bit of hair onto him. I'm going to trace the outside of this Grinch face. This is just a little bit time consuming. Take your time, get the details right, but it's literally just tracing. So you're just copying the outside lines of the Grinch head. Now you don't want to do this too far in advance because you don't want him to get too hard when he's drying as the fondant, because you do want him to mold around the cake. If you do this early and he hardens, you're then going to just have a straight Grinch to put on the cake, and he's going to sit out a little bit if you're using a round cake. Now that you've got your shape cut out, you can let it dry just a little bit, then get your black food writing pen. My goodness, that was a mouthful to get out. And again, we're going to start simply by tracing the outlines first. We're just going to add a little bit of definition to the outside so you really can see his form. While you're watching me trace my Grinch outline, why not like and subscribe this video? I am putting up videos once a week. I did take a little break there for a while, but we're certainly back and I am oozing with creativity. So make sure you like and subscribe. Keep your notifications on so you can see the new videos. I've got some very exciting ideas coming up in the next couple of weeks. Here I'm simply using the black and I'm doing some freehand, and I am going to be completely honest. I am not an artist in any way, shape or form. So if I can trace these and draw this freehand onto the cake, you absolutely can. Thankfully, it's just a matter of lines. So just looking at the lines on the printout and then popping them where you believe they should be going on the fondant, you can also recreate this. And I really mean it. If I can recreate this, you can absolutely recreate this. It was really satisfying actually to get this out exactly as it was on the paper. I was very proud of myself. You will be too. Now it's time to put it onto the finished cake. So just let the cake get a little bit tacky if you've been keeping it in the fridge. Using your hand, obviously trying not to smudge the food writing pen, just gently press him onto the cake, and there you have a Grinch Christmas cake. I finished mine off by putting some white chocolate truffle balls on the top of my cake. If you'd like to see a video on that, let me know. I also added some lovely red candy cane sprinkles onto the top, and I was so wrapped. This would be perfect for any Christmas party, as I said. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you all again real soon.